Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to completely upgrade your professional English vocabulary. If you've ever felt like your workplace communication has gotten, a little bit repetitive, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to transform how you talk about handling tasks, problems, and projects. Basically, we're moving way beyond the basics here.
I want you to think about your last few emails or meetings. When facing a problem, do you always just say, "I'll deal with it," or maybe "I'll do it"? Look, we all get stuck using those same basic verbs at work. But today we're unlocking 45 high-impact action words. These are verbs that are going to make you sound instantly more precise, competent, and frankly, a lot more professional.
All right, so here's our agenda. To make all 45 verbs super easy to digest, we've organized them into 4 real-world scenarios for you. We've got solving crises, project management, concrete execution, and communication and cleanup. Let's jump right in.
Section 1. Solving crises. This is all about resolving those tough difficulties. Those high-pressure moments when things just go sideways and you need to step up. Okay, so instead of just saying you're going to do something about a massive problem, try using the verb tackle. It's a verb meaning to undertake or handle an issue. For example, we need to tackle this issue immediately. Saying it like that, it shows so much proactive energy. It literally paints a picture of you rolling up your sleeves and taking that problem head on.
Now, nuance is absolutely key here. Let's look at the precision you get when you choose the right word. Use troubleshoot, which is a verb meaning to eliminate faults when you're in that investigative phase. So, troubleshoot the network error. But if you already know what's wrong, you use rectify to correct or fix, like rectify the billing mistake. It just sounds incredibly professional, right?
Depending on how bad the issue is, you can actually escalate your vocabulary. For a minor nuisance, you might just deal with or cope with it, meaning to handle or manage it successfully. But when things get serious, that's when you transition to addressing a formal complaint, resolving a complex issue, or maybe even confronting a challenge bravely. Choosing that exact right verb signals to your team exactly how serious the situation really is.
And hey, when the crisis isn't necessarily a massive fire, but maybe just a tangled mess of details, we have these brilliant phrasal verbs to smooth things out. Words like sort out, iron out, or clear up. Think about 2 departments that are totally misaligned on a budget. You don't fight over it, you just iron out the details to eliminate the issue. These verbs imply taking something chaotic and making it neat, understandable, and functional again.
Moving right along to Section 2, Project Management and Supervision. This is for when you step into that leadership role.
The verb oversee, meaning to supervise, is a fantastic alternative to the totally overused word manage. When you say, "I will oversee the new marketing campaign," it gives this really distinct impression of a leader keeping a watchful eye on the big picture. You're up at a higher vantage point, making sure everything aligns perfectly.
Now, it is crucial to distinguish between these two. You supervise your team members. That focuses on managing people or staff. But you administer, which focuses on executing processes or rules, like a test, a policy, or a corporate program. Precision here shows you know exactly what your responsibilities are.
We all know that feeling of having way too much on our plates, right? Well, juggle, meaning to balance, is your go-to verb for that. It perfectly captures that dynamic act of balancing priorities. Saying she has to juggle multiple projects at once is super relatable, but it still sounds completely professional. It's all about handling competing priorities without dropping the ball.
You absolutely want to add these leadership and control verbs to your arsenal. Are you strictly regulating a compliance system? Are you maybe gently steering a project's direction or prioritizing tasks? Using strong verbs like manage, direct, control, or take on, it leaves zero doubt about who's in charge.
Okay, on to Section 3, Concrete Execution and Implementation. We're moving past the planning phase now.
When a plan becomes a reality, you don't just do it, you implement it. This is a top-tier verb for putting something into effect. Saying, "We plan to implement the new software system next week," that just sounds so robust and structured, doesn't it?
Notice the big difference here? The verb execute focuses on carrying out a set plan. You execute a strategy. But expedite, that is your go-to power verb when you desperately need to speed a process up. If a client is waiting, you don't just say, "Hurry it up." No, you say you need to expedite the shipping process.
And to highlight a successful end result, accomplish is just a magnificent verb. It means to complete or achieve, and it carries way more weight and pride than just saying you finished something. I mean, you finished your lunch, right? But you say, we accomplished all our sales goals for the quarter. It just completely elevates your hard work.
Rounding out this execution phase, we've got words for really specific types of action. You fulfill a contract or complete an obligation. You dispatch someone when you're handling something swiftly, like dispatching a technician. You conduct an investigation, perform a duty, or process paperwork. See? Every single action has its perfect verb.
All right, our final section, number 4, communication, coordination, and cleanup. This is all about the interpersonal side of work.
So if tensions rise at work, you aren't just fixing a problem, you're mediating. Think about this classic workplace scenario. The HR manager had to mediate the dispute between the two departments. This verb means acting as a calm, neutral third party. It's such a high-value soft skill, and using this exact word shows you really get the delicate nature of the task.
When we talk about collaboration, precision really matters. When a project is active, you coordinate. You organize moving parts or people to work smoothly together. But when the work is done, or a conflict is finally ending, you settle it. You resolve or finalize that agreement, closing the loop completely.
As you bring a project or a long meeting to a close, the verb wrap up is just fantastic. It means to conclude successfully. It perfectly signals that things are coming to a neat end. I mean, it's so much more natural to say, let's wrap up this meeting by 5 p.m., instead of sounding robotic and saying, we will terminate the meeting now. To make sure literally nothing falls through the cracks, you need these cleanup verbs. You mend or resolve an issue, you follow up to check on progress, and you finalize to lock in those last details. And hey, when you're guiding a team through tricky situations, you're navigating them. You take care of or see to the details so your clients are well looked after.
So, what's the crucial takeaway from this whole explainer? It's that words matter. Upgrading your vocabulary from basic words to these precise power verbs absolutely transforms how people perceive you. You go from being someone who just does things to a highly competent professional who executes, mediates, and accomplishes.
We've just handed you 45 powerful action verbs. So here's my challenge for you right now. Pick just one of these new verbs today. Seriously, just one. Swap it into your next email draft or drop it into your next team meeting. So which power verb are you going to choose to elevate your professional voice?